The COS sheet, COS being short for companies, enables us to bring back specific information about a company's filings and to use that in order to then bring back financial data from those specific filings. Now we do that using a couple of bits of tech. We're using our web API, which we call Beryl, and we're also using Excel's Power Query functionality, which they tend to refer to now as get and transform data. As you can see, it's up here on the ribbon, and therefore you can see it's pretty standard technology. And what that means is that we can bring back financial data directly into Excel for you to do analysis from without any additional add-ins or any other sort of paraphernalia. All you need is just a standard version of Excel and the information about our web API. Now we have a sheet obviously which we've set up to enable you to do that, to enable you to jump straight in, and this sheet, the company sheet, is where you will want to start. So up here we have some fields. I'm calling them fields, obviously they're cells, but we put lines around them to indicate that they are fields where you want to input data in order to drive these particular queries. If a field is shaded, so for example here's one over here, so for example if you want to select companies by industry, don't put anything in this field. If it's shaded, put it in the one next to it, which is not shaded. If you look more closely up here on the bar, you can see it's got a formula in. So if you put something in there, you'll overwrite that formula. Whereas here, it kind of uses that cell in this formula in order to sort the industry out. We'll talk a bit more about that in a little while, but let's start with something simple, like for example, a ticker. So for example, if we wanted to find information on Microsoft, I'll put the ticker in, which I happen to know, MSF. And then if we go down to where the query data is going to appear, and we can either run the query by accessing it via the data ribbon. If we select this and we click on refresh, that will refresh the particular query we are on, or as you can see explained up here, you can use the shortcut Alt F5. From now on I'll use Alt F5 because it'll just be a little bit quicker, but this time I will click refresh. And as you can see, the latest details for the latest 10K for Microsoft have come down. Now you can also search by the CIK, which you can also place in this field here. Now you might want to do that if a company's ticker has changed and for example the SEC hasn't sort of kept up with that, or for whatever reason you have that as an option. But more likely you're going to want to search on a company's name, in which case you can put it here. But before you do that, you need to change the endpoint. So that's the endpoint of the API call. So we can change it to COS try, and as it suggests, you can try a name and it will come up with some suggestions. Now I've been playing around with a lot of insurance companies recently, so I'm going to choose an insurance company, and Travelers comes to mind. So I'm just going to put that in there. Probably need to spell it correctly if I want it to work. Again, we go to the query, and if we select Alt 5, it will run the query, and you will see it's brought back Travelers with the ticker, and also shows us what the latest 10K is for that. Now we may also want to search by industry. Now if you have a look over here, you'll see that it brings down the industry for a particular company, and it automatically populates this box up here, and we kind of looked at the formula of that a little bit earlier. So immediately it means we can run the industry search by switching to that particular endpoint, and it will bring back all companies which are also in that particular sector. So again, if we do our Alt F5, now this one's going to take a little bit longer. It's got to bring back a few companies, and you can see it's running down below here, and you can always stop the query by clicking there, but it tells you that that something's going on, and as you can see it's brought down a sizable number of companies which are in the insurance industry. If there's any that we fancy, we can add these to our list. As you can see, we've got a bunch of insurance companies already over here. So for example, if I wanted to just say the top one, and if I just copy those, so good old Control C, and if I just put it down at the bottom of our list here with a bit of Control V, you can see it automatically adds it to this table. So the idea is this table over here is your sort of running list of companies, and these companies reflect nicely in our drop down. So the drop down here basically is picking up all the tickers which are in our running list on the right hand side. So you can see at the bottom that it's added TIG. Let's just check that's correct. That's the latest one there. So you can utilize that as well. Obviously this is all good old fashioned standard Excel functionality, but it means that you can manage a bigger list of companies and then choose the one you want to bring down the financials for. So yeah, shown you what we can do by searching by code, either ticker or CIK. We can either use the name, but we can also search by industry. And as I explained before, if we actually want to input our own industry, so if we, I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'll just try this one. It may not really exist. It's a variation on the insurance. Let's see what happens when we do a bit of Alt F5. So here we go. See if I've actually made up a genuine industry, and yeah, there we go. We've got another bunch of insurance companies, which again we can select from to add to our list.